happy to be back at it again. Not live this week. Not live this week. In fact, we are doing a pre-recorded show. Every now and then it's what we got to do in order to make it work because we don't want to leave you without content. But the fact of the matter is, last week's episode was just phenomenal, wasn't it, guys? I mean,
It was
I don't know
great.
if you've ever had as much fun doing a show as we had last week. Crimson Empire, I mean, does it get any better than that?
It's hard
Fantastic
to say.
episode.
It's hard to say, but definitely that's probably one of my best. I say probably
Mhm.
pretty emphatically. Probably one of my best.
I'm pretty much expecting to get a Utini award for that,
Oh,
for like
yeah.
best possible show for the whole year for the
That's
entire
right.
network.
They built
I
a
love
category just for
recording
us.
it. It was so much fun, guys.
Yeah, it was a blast.
So glad we did that.
In fact, if you are listening to this live, first of all, welcome. Second of all, we actually have no idea how last week's episode was because we're recording this one first because, like Jason Solo, we're time walking. What's it called? Flow walking.
Flow walking?
Flow walking through time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Emily, Rick, I bet you guys didn't even know that there's time travel in Legends.
Not surprised.
I
but
learned
did not
something new
know.
every week.
Not surprised at
Yeah.
all, though.
It's a force power called flow walking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole thing.
That's
It's
cool.
very controversial.
You know, Legends had some great powers, right? We've got battle meditation,
Yeah.
the best power ever, probably the strongest, right? I mean, battle meditation was the reason why two inferior Jedi were able to stand up to the most intense Sith ever.
Which one are you
And
talking about? In Darth Bane?
Darth Bane, exactly, Darth Bane. And then trying to think, there's entire tides of wars, right? Like not even just two Jedi fighting a Sith, but like an entire war.
There's so many good ones. You think about like Force Lightning, but in Legends, sometimes you just need to be able to level it up in a video game, right? So Force Storm, both hands in the air, whole room is dead.
Yes.
Absolutely incinerated. Well, the fact of the matter is, we're recording this episode first. It's just, logistically what we had to do. But we are glad that you are here along for the ride with us. We're doing a two-part episode on the Legends masterpiece, Crimson Empire, the 90s comics, what we want to call this thing's trilogy.
Sure.
Trilogy
Mhm.
with some bonus material, right?
Yep.
And as we do so, the fact of the matter is, next week, spring break. Guys, part of the reason for this is Emily about to have a baby. Congratulations.
Hopefully, baby has already happened by now, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Honestly, we thought that 2 weeks ago was it, and then we thought last week was it. Is it this week?
Yep.
Who knows, Emily? By the time people are listening to this,
Who knows? I
Baby
think I
already
might
did.
actually be pregnant forever. I think I'm going to break the record. I'm pretty sure.
longest pregnancy. Look out, elephants, coming for you. Don't they have like
a 12-month or
unreasonably
18-month,
long-
gestation?
Something like that, I'm sure.
That's
I was
insane.
like trying to look it up today, and there's all kinds of crazy searches. Like, can you be pregnant for 17 months? I'm pretty sure no, but we'll see.
18 months.
It's like wishful thinking of hoping who the dad is or something, like,
Yeah.
Well, there's this one time 18 months ago, so maybe. Okay, sorry. Getting off the rails there a little bit.
Yeah, pivoting from that one.
All right.
Emily's about to have a baby. I'm also going on a spring break ski trip. Spring break ski trip. I'm going along
tongue
with
twister.
a church trip because the fact of the matter is, guys, the slopes aren't going to snowboard themselves. Am I right?
It's true.
That's true, and they're not going to bake themselves either.
The spring break. Yeah, that's what
break.
people go down to the beach instead of the mountains. Now,
Yeah.
Things are
this
going downhill quick in our show tonight.
They are.
Oh.
Because we started earlier. And I wait till
man.
it gets dark in order to make this thing work. Now, Emily, I have to break it to you. I am not going to message you from the slopes this time around because I'm convinced. You guys don't even know this, do you? I'm convinced Emily is my snowboarding bad luck charm. And here's why. Infamously, January of last year, y'all remember what happened to me snowboarding?
Yeah.
Concussion.
That had to
Yeah.
do with me?
The real question
Emily.
is, do you remember what happened last year to you?
Oh.
I remember
Killing it, man.
vividly that I took a picture of myself on the slopes like on the ski lift. I took a picture and posted it for the team in our social media the night of that big snowstorm because I was excited that for the first time ever I was snowboarding in an active snowstorm. And then you
Okay.
responded, and we went back and forth. I remember messaging you like you were so excited for me that I was snowboarding, and you said, "Be safe." And it wasn't 30 seconds later,
No.
like a minute later,
Are you
that I got my
serious?
concussion.
Wow.
The last thing that happened before my concussion is I messaged you, Emily. It's all your fault.
Wow. I don't even know how to respond to that, truly. I mean, there's a lot going on. Like maybe you shouldn't have been taking selfies on a ski lift.
Maybe.
I didn't get
Maybe
hurt on the ski lift.
you should have been watching where you were going. I mean,
I was watching where I was
should
going.
you have been on your phone that close? I don't know.
The fact of the matter is, I will be keeping the phone in the pocket this time around. Got my Star Wars audiobook all loaded up to go. And so fingers crossed that there's no
You don't get a
accidents that
traumatic
derail
brain
Legends Look
injury
Back for 3
this
months
time.
this time around. Well, regardless of how last week's show is and whether or not I make it back alive, we have a show for you tonight, and we could not be more excited about it. So, without further ado, let's kick it off. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the Utini Podcast Network. We are a Star Wars books podcast for people who like to drink Capri Sun mega pouches, woo! Where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I'm joined by my legendary co-hosts through a time loop. First and foremost, Freddie C. How are you, Freddie?
I'm doing all right here with my Orbitz drink and my what was it? The one that paints your mouth. I forgot the name of it already.
What's the one
Man,
that
the
goes
90s.
with
Tongue
ectoplasm?
splashers.
Oh, there was the High C Ecto drink. Yeah. Just looking at all the discontinued 90s products, it was all very artificial.
It's a good way.
Well, it was like
phrase
right
it.
after the space age. I feel like it was only natural.
Yeah, because the Orbits, I don't know if you guys remember the Orbit soda. It had like little balls in it.
What?
Yeah.
Moving along, we're also joined by Emily Daybeck for the last time in a while. Who knows? We're not sure. What about you?
Well, I'm slowly losing my lower limbs to swelling, which is really, really fun.
I also love that you're doing the episode from a bouncy ball.
Oh, yeah. So if you just see me doing this, just know everything's fine. Also, I do feel like I should put out a disclaimer. My due date is in just a few days, and it's come with some extra emotions, you would say.
Okay.
So if I'm a little spicier, just remember that I still love Star Wars and I still love you. So
Thank you.
don't worry about it. It's just
Is that what you
the
have to tell your husband
hormones. Yeah.
every morning?
He's been extra sassy to me lately, and I don't know what I've done to deserve it. But
It's like
he
mood
is
matching, right?
zinging me.
Well, this evening, Emily logged in for the show, and I said, "Emily, great to see you." And I believe the direct quote was, "Don't talk to me."
Yeah. I literally am hiding in my house because people keep asking me where the baby is.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
or
how it
like,
is.
oh, no labor. Yeah, I thought you were going to be induced. It's like, oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
I'm just
keep
going to
your
hide.
opinions to yourself, and if you do
Yeah.
that long enough, I'll keep the baby out of myself. Anyway, I tried.
Okay.
You know who else knows about babies? Rick Grace, because he's got one.
Got two.
Oh, there we
Hey.
go.
I'm here, and my babies are locked away with my wife and my mom who's visiting. It's like, hey guys, so at 7:00, I'm gonna have to lock you guys out. You can't come back to the living room.
Yeah,
And,
extra long show tonight.
Gotta be quiet. So sorry.
Your hat looks awesome, though.
It's a beautiful hat, man.
Sporting the Ahsoka
And that shirt.
theme. Yeah.
Oh,
way, so-
The
beautiful.
Legends
Digging it.
Ahsoka shirt.
That's right. Legends Ahsoka. I actually think it's the Ahsoka Troopers though hat, but you know it counts. It counts.
Rick, your
Absolutely.
background there is pretty fantastic.
Thank you. And I still got to put more books on the shelf, but the ones that are up, they matter. So
Are you trying to read them before you put them up, or?
No. We don't do that here. It's
Good Legends hardcovers over your right shoulder there. I'm seeing some rare ones, some
Thank you.
sci-fi book club, like
Yep.
the collectible ones.
That's happens to be their section of them. That's all I got. So.
Good ones they
Put
are.
them
Not
front
too
and center.
bad.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, tonight's episode, in fact, I've got a really collectible edition of this. I don't know if I've ever shown it off. Got the 30th anniversary hardcover.
Ooh,
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Crimson Empire,
nice.
which
That's
I'm very
beautiful.
proud of. I got this thing on a deal at a comic book store in New Hampshire, and they had a bunch of these for all
Nice.
kinds of different Legends properties. I only had enough money at the time for one, and I never got a chance to go back
Oh,
before I moved
man.
away. And it's the one that got
Bummer.
away.
Yeah.
All the books, like $200-$300 worth of books sitting on the shelf. But you know what? I'm proud of this one.
Definitely.
Proud of this one. We are talking about Crimson Empire. I'm going to lead us off tonight with a spicy take. Y'all ready for this?
Ready?
Yes.
Make it spicy.
For my money, panel for panel, cover for cover, in terms of Star Wars Legends art, Crimson Empire has the best Legends art ever in all of Star Wars. I said it. There it is.
Mm.
Hot take.
Wow.
So hot it made
Yeah.
my camera shake.
It's pretty hot.
I had a
Interesting
hot
to see
take
what
on
you
it
think
too,
about
in terms of like the most action-packed comic
Yeah.
book in Legends, for sure. Undoubtedly, I feel like almost every panel is a fight or some sort of thing going on that just makes my adrenaline pump. It's like what at night before a judo competition, I'm just sleeping there and thinking about judo, and then I wake up just sweating, ready to fight somebody. That's how this makes me feel.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Cool.
Folks. Crimson Empire mix. Freddy Sweaty. There it is.
Ready, sweaty.
Sweaty Freddy.
Love it. I love
Goodness.
it.
Replacing Spready Freddy,
Yikes.
thankfully. Now,
Sweaty Freddy.
this is, in terms of the data on the art here, we're talking about all the art of Crimson Empire and this go around in tonight's show. This is by the cover art. And I'm not sure if this is consistent all the way through all 3 volumes. There's like the 3 volumes of Crimson Empire 1, 2, and then 10 years later that came out with Crimson Empire
Mhm.
3, right? Cover art by Dave Dorman. Dave
Man.
Dorman. Now, Freddie, we've talked about Dave Dorman before.
Yeah. He's very synonymous with cover art for Star Wars. Whenever you do see his art, to me it's pretty obvious when it's a Dorman piece. And I would say almost another hot take here. I would say that almost every single cover in this series is an absolute banger.
Yeah,
Said it.
Fantastic covers. Now, I believe we've got a couple of them pulled up. These are under my picks, Rick. I picked a couple of Dorman covers. Yeah, here's one. That
Classic.
is,
Beautiful.
What is this? The cover for, is it number 1?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Very iconic. If you're listening on audio, first of all, I'm sorry that we're describing all this art to you. Second of all, hang in there with us. We got this. We got this. This is, well, a bunch of Royal Guards.
Yeah.
How else do you describe this? This is a sea of Royal Guardsmen
Mm.
led by Kier Canos. You guys say Canos or Canos?
Kanos.
Canos.
Of course you say it
Yes.
spicy, Freddie.
I
I
say it almost
know.
as if he's Greek.
Canos. Kirkanos.
Yep.
Kirkanos.
In the audio drama, which I listened to, they say Canos. But then I've always said Canos. So then I say a little bit of both. Just, whatever I'm feeling in the moment. Anyway,
Yep.
Put up.
how about his weapon? What do you think? What is this thing? A scythe?
It's like a vibroblade
Yeah.
dual.
Double-bladed?
That's the cool thing
Yeah.
about the art, is that you do see like the vibration even though it's not moving, which is always crazy to me
Mm.
that
Mhm.
artists can do that.
And
But it's
then in
it's
the-
like
Go ahead.
yeah, it's like some sort of dual scythe, I guess.
Call
Dual
it a-
bladed scythe.
Double-bladed scythe vibroblade.
Yeah.
Or AKA Kier Canos's dope sword. Now,
Down.
in the back, we've got the Imperial insignia on fire because
On
the Empire
fire.
is on fire
Mm.
in this.
Yeah.
Everything is burning down, and he's going to burn it to the ground himself because he's angsty.
Mm.
He's an action hero.
Mm. It's fair.
And we might have one more, Dave Dorman.
Couple more.
Okay, we got a couple more. This is
Beautiful
maybe,
art.
Yes.
Oh.
maybe my very favorite piece of Legends art ever. It is currently the background on my phone. This
Mm.
is the cover to Crimson Empire number 3.
Yeah.
It is. Tell the good folks what we're looking at here.
So this
Uh,
one's pretty interesting, right? We've got Kirkanos with his awesome sword. I'm not sure what we named it. We just talked about that a second ago. With his awesome double-bladed scythe, just over a pile of stormtroopers, and he looks like he's just going to town, smashing them down to bits.
Yeah. The white and black on the stormtroopers really makes them skeleton-esque, and the mood is very macabre, throwing some big words.
Yeah, it honestly looks like a Renaissance painting or something
Yeah,
like that.
totally.
Like it
What
is
to say?
biblical almost.
It reminds me of. There's no pictures in the Bible. All right, now there's Emily. There's all right. Help me out here. What's the name of the piece? It's got like soldiers holding a flag.
Oh,
Is it the
They're like trying
The
to
one
hold
in
it up.
Vietnam?
Iwo Jima?
Yeah.
Iwo Jima?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's a memorial, like, brass or
This looks reminiscent
metal.
of that, except
I
for
see it.
instead of a flag, it's his cape.
yeah.
Instead of a
Mhm.
flagpole, it's his scythe. And instead of like a hill, the hill is a mountain of bodies of stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Marine
Raising the
Corps
flag on
memorial.
Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
It's
There
called.
it is.
Yeah, you guys see what I'm talking about, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yep,
kind
yep,
of
I can see it.
All right,
I
all
see
right.
it. And I
finally,
can
I think
hold on. I
ahead.
can give Emily some credibility here with the whole Bible thing. You could be like Moses parting the Red Sea, holding up the staff, except it's like Kirkanos holding up the staff and splicing in half the stormtroopers.
Now I'm on board. You sold me, Rick.
I love it.
I'm completely convinced. I love it.
I love it.
Oh
The
goodness!
Thanks for
Red
backing me
Sea.
up, Rick.
Get it?
You're welcome. Yeah.
Could we call it the Crimson Sea?
Oh.
Ooh.
We got one more Dave Dorman coming up, right? Cheer.
Now,
Oh
this
wow,
one
that one's
is
beautiful.
Now, we spent a lot of time a couple weeks ago talking about the difference between Carnor Jax and Kirkanos. This is both of them in the same shot.
Hmm.
Carnor Jax with his double-bladed vibro scythe pinning down Kirkanos, looking like the battle's lost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert is not.
Mm.
But an absolutely excellent piece of art. All right, I would suggest that Dave Dorman's covers are some of my very favorite pieces of Legends art. There's nothing more visually captivating for me than a Royal Guardsman.
No,
They
absolutely not.
just
Yeah, I
have
totally
a look
agree with
about
you.
them.
Totally agree with you. Right? They're
Very
completely
striking.
mysterious.
Mhm.
You don't really know what's going on. They look kind of frumpy, but then you see when they get into a fight and they're just ripped.
Yeah.
They're absolutely shredded, and they've got the best looking armor, and you're like, that's what's under those frumpy coats.
Hmm.
Frumpy is not a word I would have used,
Frumpy.
but
That's something that came to mind for me either. But I see your point.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is, in Return of the Jedi, they do nothing, and you kind of
Mhm.
think they would save Palpatine.
Yeah.
But they don't. And this is kind of the story of what's going on under the hood.
Yeah.
It's the backstory. You get to see them in action, whereas you don't get to see them in action in the films.
Mm.
So that is absolutely something that elevates the original trilogy, which that's what the expanded universe is all about, elevating the material that we already have and taking it to the next level. So those were a few of my picks in terms of my favorite art from the series, the Dave Dorman covers. Now, the interiors are by Paul Gulacy. Paul, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that we just butchered your last name, but we love your art. Let's talk about the
Mhm.
interiors. Freddie, let's start with you. What are your favorite pieces of art from Crimson Empire?
Yeah, well, before we move on, I wanted to show one of my favorite cover arts. If you can pop that up, I have it under best cover art there, Rick.
What a great
Nice.
title.
Yes.
Great naming.
So this is my favorite
Ooh.
one.
I almost chose
Uh,
this one. It almost looks like Power Rangers.
It does.
It
That's
does.
exactly what I was
It
gonna
really
say.
does.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm so glad you brought that up. The whole time I was reading this, I just thought to myself, goodness gracious, these guys look like I don't know which generation, but they look like Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like one of the ninja generations.
Yeah.
Ninja Storm.
My son's been watching those lately, and so I totally see it. I totally see it.
There's
Yeah,
Ninja
and I just-
Storm, Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel, and there's also the Ninja Rangers from Mighty Morphin. So there's plenty to
Yeah.
pick from.
Oh, I know. It's one of the
There's
very
a lot.
recent ones that I'm just so confused.
Those are just the ninjas. Ready for the dinosaurs?
I think I'm on the Ninja Dinosaur actually, or something
right.
like that. It's
Yeah, this is a great one, Freddie. It's got, it's both Kirkanos and Carnor Jax
Carnor Jax.
in the flashback.
Yes.
uh-huh.
And behind them is none other than
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Anakin Skywalker.
I thought it was so interesting because it takes Dorman's take on what was in the inside art, right? We've got the very interesting features on the helmet, which I'm not really sure what those symbols mean. You know, it definitely gives off that's the Power Ranger vibe for sure. And this is around the Power Ranger era, so I'm not sure if that's what gave it some impact there. But I also like that they picked the color pink for who is that? Kirkanos?
I can't remember.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think pink is. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember, but you know, not really a color you'd expect for a powerful character, but really cool to see that, especially in the early '90s. And of course, just the vibrating blades in there that Dorman captures. You know, movement without having to actually show movement is insane. Not entirely my favorite cover. I just like that they look like Power Rangers.
I appreciate that.
That is fair.
We got any other covers? We're ready to move
Yeah,
on to some interiors.
I don't know about any other covers.
I've got some
I
covers.
have a cover alternative.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Ooh.
go around. Let's finish up
Yeah.
the covers, and then we'll move on. Emily.
Who's going up? Okay, Emily.
It's Emily Fave
Cool.
because it was my fave.
Nice.
Peek behind the curtain.
Ooh.
Oh, that one.
I
That's
thought
so
this
cool.
one was so striking. Just the way that it just kind of fades into Kirkanos holding a blaster, which he doesn't usually use. But it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it kind of shows his slow transformation into what is it? Something kill? Kennex kill? How do you say it?
Oh, the bounty hunter?
Kill.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, how he's kind of playing both roles. And I just thought it was a really striking cover alternative.
What is that one from? I don't recognize it.
I thought it was from the second.
It's
Oh,
it's
because
from the
an
first
alternative, that's why
standalone,
I don't know it.
right?
Yeah.
It's from the first
Oh, really?
standalone
Oh,
in
okay.
between Crimson 1 and 2. There's like a
Okay.
standalone comic.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name.
Pulling
Kill
it up.
Kennex or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's a great cover.
Yeah.
I
like
was
that.
surprised that wasn't picked as the main cover, but I really enjoyed that one.
That's pretty cool.
Excellent pick. Rick?
Yeah, let me pull it up here. Man, I chose a lot of covers.
It's hard to limit them.
Dave Dorman, man. Dave Dorman has some beautiful art, honestly. If you look at his portfolio of all the art he's done with the comic books, it's really difficult to choose one.
Definitely.
Mhm.
So back to the one we just talked about. That was one of them. Also, a few episodes later, with his guard troopers,
Shadow Troopers.
Shadow Troopers, yeah. With what's his face, Karnar Jax. And I love how it's kind of contrasting Kier.
Oh.
I don't know. I love the dark theme in this one. And then fast forwarding to Crimson Empire 3. This is from number 5. It was a fun one. Nothing to stand out, just whatever, it's cool. But then just the symbolism of the last
That one's
episode
good.
6
That was excellent.
was
Issue 6.
powerful.
He's got his robes hung up, nailed to the insignia with the scythe, with the sunset. Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a Western, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
It is. And it's it's a good way to end it. So that was a great cover for me.
I
What's
think
the
it's
part
safe to
about these
say-
is they're not too busy. They're very sparse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of minimalist.
Symbolic.
in a certain
Definitely.
way. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the best cover in Crimson Empire is issue 1 through what is it? All the way till 2011.
Yeah.
Right. No, they're absolutely spectacular.
one with the
Let's talk about
cover?
Dave Dorman's covers. Let's also talk about Paul Gulacy's art.
Oh yeah.
Now, I do think shot for shot, panel for panel, the Dave Dorman covers for me take the cake. But there's some really great moments within the interiors as well. Especially the action scenes are done better than faces, in my opinion. Though there are some excellent facial shots, especially the dark and broody. He can communicate a lot with the facial expression. What I especially want to talk about, though, are the Xanabar.
Oh man.
The Xanabar, because
Oh yeah.
I forgot about these guys when
Oh yeah.
I forgot about the
Yes.
Xanabar when I was suggesting that we do this one. for the show, and then the first time I encountered them, I was like, "Oh, Emily's gonna love these."
Totally.
Like weird
Didn't even warn you.
aliens.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness.
What's your take on the Xanabar, Emily, at 1 to 10?
What do you mean 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Do I like them?
That's
Rank
about-
them in terms of beauty.
Oh well, they are not on my scale.
Not even
if they
on
showed
the
up on
scale.
your Tinder profile, would you swipe left or right?
I don't know which one's which, so I would probably swipe
I
down.
don't know either. I'm gonna swipe no, whichever way says no.
Yeah.
They've got
it's gonna be a hard
excellent
pass.
use in the story though, because they are terrifying.
Dude,
They
yeah.
Like, I
are.
don't want
They're
these
like these
things
weird
to take-
zombie things.
I have been waiting for weeks to make this joke, Jared, but
Okay.
Do it.
they
I'm so
have
excited.
this is the stuff of nightmares.
Yes.
Dream, haha, we're talking about dreams. Okay, sorry.
Do you have nightmares about these things?
I'm not going to share that information, but
The answer is
I like-
yes.
I
You
like
wouldn't
how
want to
it's
hear
wearing
about
a-
it, Jared.
I
You
do.
wouldn't
You
want
would want to hear about it. What would you care? Yeah. I do have a panel to show off later of another Xanabar that's, it's a great page of them.
Okay. I'll give a couple more, and then we'll move along.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what we have here, Rick. So you just show me what we got, and I'll talk about them.
All right.
Some of my favorites. Oh, this is a good one.
That's a good one.
You can see the fear in Mirith Sin's eyes as it's reflected across Carnor Jax's visor. This is from near the end of the first run, Crimson Empire 1. That as soon as I saw it, I was like, all right, stop the press. I got to take a picture of this and upload it. This panel single-handedly gave me the idea to do an art episode.
Nice.
All right, what else we got?
I'm not sure if I'm going in order anymore.
That doesn't matter. Keep them coming. All right.
Oh,
This
that's
one-
one of mine too. I
Yeah.
love
Very
this one.
brutal. Tell us what we got, Freddie.
Yeah, so this one is fantastic. This is one of my favorite art pieces. It shows just how intense, first of all, that vibro sword, double-bladed sword
Yeah, it
is,
sliced
right?
through a stormtrooper head.
Slice right through a stormtrooper head, and it just cleanly cuts right in half, and you know that guy's totally done for. It also shows the lethality of Kirkanos and basically those guys in general, right? The Royal Guards and how efficient they can be in killing machines and just completely decimate a person in armor.
Couldn't have said it
Yeah,
better myself.
seriously.
It's like we already know that plastoid armor isn't all that strong. But
Right.
it's very satisfying to think about.
Military
Yes.
grade.
Yeah.
Very satisfying to think about a
Mil
scythe
spec.
just slicing
Yeah.
through it. All right, what else we got, Rick? Coming rapid fire.
This was one of mine as well.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
Ooh, that one's a
Talked
good
about
one.
the
I picked this one
spaceships
too.
A couple episodes ago, Rick.
Yes.
Do you know what this ship is called?
I'm probably saying it wrong. The Lusankya.
Yep.
Very good.
Lusankya, yeah. And it's a super star destroyer that is captured by the fledgling New Republic. And I actually have not gotten to this, like the story of their capture, because it's like X-Wing series, right?
Yeah, it's a very iconic,
Mhm.
serves a
Yeah.
huge, prominent role in that series. There's a big spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. But
Right,
in the
okay.
first arc of X-Wing books,
Uh-huh.
I think it especially comes in books 3 and 4.
I think I know. I heard it in 3. I want to say I've read 3, but not 4. Maybe I've read all 4. But I know that this is all familiar. Like the ship is familiar, and it was kind of obvious where it was going. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what the spoiler's building up, or the twist is going to build up for. But yeah, I just love the ship, man. It's cool, and the fact that there's a big old New Republic emblem on it is pretty kick butt. I like that.
That's funny, Rick. You and I chose that art as well with
Yeah.
the same concept of seeing the Galact or the New Republic symbol on a piece of Imperial machinery was really satisfying.
Yeah.
It
For
reminds me
sure.
of Patton Oswalt's a filibuster that he did on Parks and Rec like 7 or 8 years ago. And he talked about how the New Republic, they've
Yeah.
captured all the Imperial Star Destroyers and they've just graffitied them and spray painted, all
So
over 'em.
great.
Anyway, something like that.
Yeah.
How's my impression?
That's good, man.
It was
All right.
great.
Pass. If you did that
Thank you.
and I didn't know if it was Patton Oswalt, I probably would not have guessed.
Chewie's
But
severed head. All right. Any
Yeah,
others
I can
from
hear it.
me?
Yeah.
I love that I have to ask Rick.
This is another one of mine too.
oh, I love that one
Uh,
too, man.
This actually, I think, made it onto the Cosmic Force. I'd used it as my art of the week a number of
That's
months ago.
hilarious.
Every issue begins with one of these full-page splash pages where the action is in the lower third of the image.
Mm.
And this maintains consistency throughout all 3 volumes of the trilogy, and it is absolutely, for me, one of the details that makes this a Legends classic. What about y'all?
Yeah, I love it. I love it's just such a random looking frog character looking right at you with massive
Yep.
action going on behind it. He doesn't even care.
I wonder if this
Yeah.
is a Nalatree frog from the Han Solo trilogy, the ones that
Tree frog.
what's his name? Derek the Hutt? That's not
Oh.
right.
Durga.
Tim the Hutt.
Durga the Hutt. Yeah.
Durja.
Mm.
Derek.
They, he's like, I just need more Nalatree frogs, and somebody poisons them. and
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if these are them. All right,
Hmm.
those are my picks.
You got
Emily,
more.
You're up next.
You got more? You got more.
Oh, there's more? There's more? All right. keep
But
them coming.
wait, there's more.
All right, here's one of the Squall. And I think I've got another of the Squall. This is one of those
Sure do.
full-page
Oh, yeah.
spreads. This
Man,
I
you're
like
taking
the
you're taking all my
squall
art, aren't you?
is where the action happens. I have no idea what you picked, Freddie. So, surrounded by Power Rangers. Just kidding. Surrounded by Royal Guards
Multicolored.
in training. And if there's one thing we know about Star Wars, it is you can only duel if there's a
A
huge chasm
significant
underneath
fall.
and
Yeah.
no guardrails. That's right.
Ooh, I just noticed that like the Imperial logo kind of makes up the boardwalk parts of the Squall.
I know it's
Mm.
so beautiful. It
It's
is on the
poetic
planet.
for sure.
On the
Mhm.
planet Yinchor, which comes up a few different places in Legends.
Hmm.
Absolutely. All right, Emily, you're up next.
Sure, Rick, just throw something up there and see
Yep.
what we got.
You guys have to give me a little bit of a transition to pull up everybody's individual.
Pull them
Oh,
all
yeah.
up at the
Yeah.
same time.
All right,
Yeah.
out of all my picks, which one's your favorite, guys?
You had some good ones there. Some of
Kind of
those
likes the
were
random frog.
that was definitely
That
the
one
coolest
was the fun one.
That's the one I
Yeah.
keep coming back to, and every time I read Crimson Empire, because it's a brutal series.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's rough.
just
It's very
laced with
violent.
toxic masculinity, and
No.
then a frog.
Emily,
And the TIE fighters come crashing in. It's a whole thing.
Emily, do you want any of these in a particular order?
I do not have a preference, Rick.
Cool.
Your call.
All right, how about
All
this
right,
one?
so this one, I thought that the nanny, being as buxom as she is, was hysterical. This is like classic comics. Like, is it necessary to see the curves of a droid? Probably
In the
not.
90s,
And
in
yet,
the 90s, yes.
I understand the multiple arms, but I
Ghost
just
with the
thought
Babies
that was so
episode we did.
funny. Because like
Yep.
Star Wars is usually pretty clean. Like it's not a super sexualized genre, but yet
Apparently,
Comics.
except for the droids. The
the
droids,
droids, it's just free reign.
But in
So-
Comics are-
defense, she's a
I-
great,
It
a
does.
great fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that's
mean, I just thought that was kind of funny.
ready
I
to
think
go.
Legends comics in general have been very they do have a lot of those tones, right? I mean, Zeltrons, you've got a lot of
Oh, and I've got
that.
more to say at the next episode.
Okay.
And by the next episode, I mean the one you've already listened to.
Yeah, that's right. I'll say this much: Star Wars comics have gotten better about this.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure.
All right, move us along, Rick.
All right, next one. A great
Ooh.
one.
I loved this one where it's just like it shows you the experience of being cut down by Darth Vader, and it is terrifying.
There's
And
absolutely
also, I
nothing
feel
you
like-
can do.
Yeah, it also highlights like they use a lot of shadow in really most of them. I think the second and the third series, I think they used it a little bit more, but it was just a lot of black
Mhm.
to add drama.
This is a great one. I like
Mhm.
this.
Thank you. You
No,
can
that
move
might-
on, Rick.
Okay.
I didn't have a ton to say. Okay, this one, that little alien reminded me of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Geico gecko, and I just thought like he was so like ferocious, and then all of a sudden he got caught in a double cross, and then he
Yeah.
reminded me of that little gecko, and I just wondered if you guys got the same vibe.
15
reminds
minutes or
me of-
more could save you
It
15%.
reminds me of Randall from Monsters Inc.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. Okay, yeah. So that little guy I thought was pretty funny,
That's great.
and I think I only have one more.
Species,
Couple more.
Grindelwald? There's a species in the past on Legends Look Back
one
we
more
have
for the
said
art, I
reminds
think.
us of Randall from Monsters Inc. So it could be a Grindelwald. Anyway, what you got?
Are you seeing this one?
Yeah, the very last one in the top right corner, there is a Tuscan Raider
Hmm.
in like among bounty hunters, and I just thought that was such a cool like
Mhm.
little Easter egg because I would have never thought a Tuscan Raider would be a bounty hunter, and yet there is one right there.
Gonna Legends, am I right?
Nice.
I love it.
Yes. All right, you got
that-
some more
that was
here.
all.
You have some
Um, That's for the rest of the other show, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So who's up
Freddie,
next?
Rick, it doesn't matter. Let's keep it moving.
All right.
Jared, earlier you spoke about action and how well Paul Gulacy, I'm not entirely sure if that's correct, but his art can capture, I guess, just action very well, right? And so there's one that I've got in there that's a very interesting POV of a battle. Rick, you might see that, and it's definitely one of my favorites because it puts you right behind the gunner when the Imperials are trying to kill sorry, not Karn Jax, Kir Karnos before Jax comes down, right? They're trying to take care of it.
Rebel base on Feta.
This is the rebel. Yep, this is the rebel base on Feta, and you can just see, like, man, imagine being this gunner facing all of this Imperial machinery, and it looks like there's a. Let me see if I can open it on my iPad here to get a better look. But it looks like there's a. I'm not sure what kind of vehicle it is straight ahead of him that looks like it's about to fire upon him.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's really just a lot of action going on. You've got some speeder bikes on the left-hand side, explosions everywhere, fire.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's chaos.
I like the motion of, what is that, a TIE Phantom or whatever interceptor.
TIE Interceptor?
Yeah. You can see the motion blur of it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That is
That's a good
really
point.
cool.
Yeah. You gotta get a bunch in here. What do you want next?
Let's go with the let's see, most of them were covered in Jared's, but let's go to Rogue Squadron. That was the coolest scene, honestly, when you see they're just like, oh, it's just fighters, we don't have to worry about it, and then it goes, what does he say there? He goes, let me open it up here.
Buckle up, because I brought an E-wing. Is that what he says? Because I spy an E-wing.
There's an E-wing right there. So he goes, continue with the attack. It's just a squadron of rebel fighters. And the guy goes, time to show the imps what Rogue Squadron can do. And you're like, okay, never mind. These guys are done.
That's how you know you're reading a legend story.
Yeah.
Because then the Deus Machina is the Rogue Squadron. Always the ones that can come and bail you out.
Yep, exactly. So that was a really cool scene to see just a bunch of rebel fighters who you don't really know who they are until he says Rogue Squadron. You're like, oh, these guys are done for. Bye, imps.
Excellent. Yeah, sorry I took so many of your picks, Freddie.
No, it's cool. It's cool. That just proves that, like, this comic is just full of good stuff.
There were a lot of great choices.
There's another interesting one here, Rick. If you could do the, let's see, I think it's the Vader kick. Yeah. So it's when Vader comes on to what is it, Yinkor?
Yeah,
and Yinkor. It's Legends. It doesn't matter. And he's testing out the trainees, right, to see if they're fit for duty, and he absolutely demolishes the best fighter amongst them. And if you look at this kick, man, he just stabs the dual-bladed sword right into the ground and lifts up his body and just smashes this guy down and chops his arm off.
Donkey kicks him. He gets him with both feet.
Exactly. Yeah. And imagine that's the thing, right? This is all machinery that this Darth Vader's all machinery. He's lifting himself up. Imagine how hard that's got to hurt. Yeah. And it just shows how much of a, I guess, how intense of a fighter and how skilled Vader is when it comes to fighting. And I don't think he uses the Force at all. I think he just uses his martial artistry.
Dominates them.
Yeah, easily. I mean, just takes down the best.
When Vader comes into the scene, it is absolutely one of the best moments in the entire run for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, we're running short on time. Toss it over to Rick. Rick, let's give a couple picks.
All right.
And we've got a show to do tonight, guys.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see.
In the past.
I will go with, I wanted to show off the creepy picture of the...
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
What are they called again?
That is so gross.
What are they? The
Xanabar.
Xanabar. Yeah. Look at the eyeballs, man.
No.
The way their eyeballs watch as it gets lifted up and like are just staring at them. Like, seriously, they were so creepy.
Swipe left.
Yeah, swipe left. I love I love this one too. When
Ooh.
Kirkanos blows up the
Yeah,
Victory
that
class
one was a good
destroyer
one.
right before, like they're like, "Oh, he just left. How peculiar. Oh, wait, maybe this is bad." And then kaboom, and legendary.
Love that
And
they
the
dedicate a whole
aftermath.
page to it too.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes.
aftermath of that was actually devastating. I'm pretty sure it got rid of like 60% of of
Yeah, it really
that
did.
Star Destroyer.
It took
Yeah.
out so much of that ship.
Oh, okay. This is a fun one too. The setup on this page for this
Oh.
monster, and then like the reveal on the next page of like it's like I don't know what this was. Was this like a simulator or like an arcade game? You remember this?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, it's a shooting range.
A shooting range. Okay.
Yeah,
But-
but instead of just shooting slugs at a target, you're shooting, laser beams at holograms because it's Star Wars.
Right. But like that was such a great like switch for me to go from where in the world is Koenig's Kill now? Oh, he's just at the range. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was a fun transition for me.
That's really cool. That's a good one.
That is, that's a good one.
Let's see. And
And
then
there's that Tuscan again.
Yeah, there he
I
goes.
love that Tuscan.
Then let's see. This whole true love interlude, where they're this is in the filler episode in between the not filler, but between the series, and I can't read.
Prelude to Crimson Empire 3.
Okay, yes. Oh, that makes sense then. Historically, kind of the unfinished business of the romantic tension, and how they have a complicated relationship, and so this was
sure.
was fun for the story, but yeah. And then I have a lot of the covers, like we already talked about. Let's see what this one is. Okay, that's the
Oh,
another
that's
cover.
beautiful.
Oh man,
Yeah,
he's got a little headlock right there. Looks
Oh, yeah.
like. Oh man, that's great.
that's all I got for me. But there were some great ones throughout this for sure.
Obviously, we just want to say to Dave Dorman and Paul Goulassi, absolutely love the work. And if you
Well done.
listeners have not checked out Crimson Empire, hey, we're talking about it. You probably listened to what we had to say about it last week. I'm sure it was excellent. And in the meantime, if you would like to pick up your own copy, personally, I read the Crimson Empire saga off of Comixology. And so you can, of course, pick up your own copy. Going over to uteen.com, click the Amazon link in the profile, and we get a few cents to help keep the lights on. For this week, we just want to say thank you for listening to Legends Look Back. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can find us via email, legendslookback@uteen.com, or you can, of course, find us on Twitter @legendslookback. Until next time, remember to keep the UTN fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the force be with you.